going to be looking at how to change your menus and also how to change the widgets which control the home page. If you want to look at these things, they're both under Appearance. We're going to go to Widgets first, and within these widgets then you have these different sections of your website. And for the most part, these control things that appear on the home page. There is one that will control something that appears on blog posts, and we could make it so that these can control things on other pages if we wanted to. That's not how it's set up right now though. And so we're going to take a look at our home page and see what we have there. We have our slideshow, have our welcome message, we have our different collections down here at the bottom. Now let's just drag this out into a separate window so we can see easily what each one of these is doing. And there we go. Now, over here we have our home featured section, and then we have this shortcode that comes from Soliloquy. The shortcode means that you put in this little identifier here, and it will make it show up over here, and it will make it do something. It's not always going to be for Soliloquy. In this case, that's what it's for. You can find the shortcode for Soliloquy under Soliloquy over here. We'll take a look at that in a different video, how to use that. But it's fairly simple to use. Right now we have it centered, and it's pretty clear how that works. You're probably not ever going to want to change that it's centered, but maybe at some point you want a completely different slideshow. But probably you'll just want to edit what photos are within that. But you could change it to completely different slideshow, or completely different content for that matter. This comes in a text widget, and so it's just basically HTML, and it's not anything that is special beyond that. And you could add new ones in here as well if you wanted to at any time. You could take your text and you could add a new one here, and you could write up whatever you want, and then it would show up right over here. So you could say, "Hello world, I have a new widget to show you," and then we can click Save, and we can refresh it over here. Now that's here as a part of your page. Now that's not something you actually want on there, but you could add something more. And most of the time you're not going to be adding something brand new to this widget section here. Most of the time you're just going to be going in and making changes. This says welcome, and that's probably not going to change anytime soon. This text here though you might want to change. This is your little welcome message, and that's gone by the way, the extra part that we added there. And but you can go in here anytime, make changes, click Save, and it will show up over here automatically. For the bottom, then we have 4 different photos with titles underneath them and a description of their price. This is done with the image widget. It's very simple to use. This is our image that we have here. We don't use a title on it. We choose an image. You can change this image out anytime you want. Ideally you will choose an image with the exact same resolution as this one, which is 290 by 440 if you're going to be changing these out. If you want to do a different size, then it will require some work from the back end to be able to make that all work right. Otherwise it's going to mess up the formatting in all likelihood. But you simply click on an image, and click Choose Image, and then you can choose your new image that you want to go into that spot if you want a different one. Down here you have a link that the image will lead you to if you click on it. And so we can see here that for our family collections, then when we click on it, then it will take us to the family collections, as we hoped that it would. Link text, you don't need anything in that section there. We have this part down here that is the text section, and it has some things that are HTML codes within it and some CSS styling codes within it. You don't need to worry about those really, because you're not going to be changing these often, but if you do want to change something, then it's not a difficult thing to do. If you want to change this to elderly collections, then you click Save, you update it, and now we have elderly collections. That's probably not what you want. probably still want to stick with family collections. And so we go right back to it, no big deal. We're back to where we were. Now, what might be something that you really might want at some point is to change exactly where these appear. And that's not a big deal if you want to do that. You can just click on this, drag it down, move the other one back up here, and now we've made them switch places. We made engagement collections and family collections switch places. Everything's good to go. No big deal to do that, and you can always change it right back. That's one of the things to remember, is most things that you do we can fix. Most things that you do we can undo if we need to, and so it's okay to experiment. It's okay to try out new things, and if there's a problem, we'll be there to support you with it. Now, in the footer, we only have one thing going on here, and it is, it's this here. Down in footer 3, then we have your information that shows up here at the bottom of every page. And you can change out that information if you ever need to. You're probably not going to need to. You're probably going to stick with the same phone and email information that you've had. Now here in the after entry, we have this part here. This controls the comments section that shows up after each blog post. You're probably never going to need to deal with this. You definitely don't need to deal with this part here. If you wanted it to say something other than cool comments, you could change that out, and you could say cool comments from my friends or whatever. You're probably not going to want to change that either, though, in all likelihood. Those are all the widgets that you can control right there, and for the most part, you're going to be leaving them alone. You're welcome to use them as much as you want. One other up here, we have the primary sidebar. I guess we didn't mention that before, and that shows up as the sidebar, so over on the right hand side of blog post. Then you can see it there, and so we click on this, and then it shows up at the bottom when we're on a smaller screen size like this. When we're on a larger screen size, it'll be over to the side. You could add new things within this section here. We have other options of what we could be doing there. If you want to just have an image over there, you can drag it up there, put that image in place. If you want to have a form over there to have people sign up for something, you can drag that up there as well. And remember, we're going to look at forms more later in a different video. And you could do recent comments, although that would not work in this case because it's Facebook comments. That wouldn't be something that would work. You could have an RSS feed from another website, and we have an endless number of other widgets we could add if we wanted to. So if there's ever anything you want over in that side that you think this would be really cool to have over there, then we can find you a widget that will do it in all likelihood. That's pretty much what you have for widgets. Then we want to move on to menus. These are our menus here. We have, in this case, I guess we only have one menu on this website. A lot of times you'll have two. In this case, we only have one. And so then the menu name is right, and it's not meaningful what the name is. Once upon a time that was meaningful on a different version of this website. No longer meaningful anymore. You have your order of what's on here, and so we have home, about us, portfolio, and then we have details, and underneath that we have our different pages. We have a blog, we have this here where it says connect, and those are all linking to pages. They come from over here under pages. If you want to add something new, then you can click on it and click add to menu. So if we want to add, we'll just add another page for portfolio. You can have two links to the same place. There we go. And then if we wanted to have that, then we could bring it up here. Let's say we want to have it be a sub-menu item for home. Then see how it's just a little over to the right? That means it's a sub-menu. And then we saved it. We come over here, and now you can go to portfolio from home, from under home. Not necessarily what you want to do, but you understand the concept then of how to be able to add those. You can also add a post link up there. Now, I don't know that there'd be any particular reason that that's something you'd be wanting, but you can see that there's a lot of text as a part of the title for that one. If you have something that has too much text, then it's going to be a little messed up there. See, It might be messed up right now anyway, because we've pretty much filled up as much space as we can with our menu items, with our social media icons there. But if you want to change this to something that is much shorter, you can go in here to the navigation label, and you can change it, and you can just call it post, or whatever else you want to do. And you don't really need to change these other things here. You can just click save, and then now it just says post, and we're able to fit it in that spot there. If you're wanting to go beyond the number of menu options we have up here, it could create some formatting issues as you go down to smaller sizes. If we bring it in, then it actually mostly works, I guess, in this case when it's one more like that. It might not be quite perfect, but it's close enough to what we're wanting that it could be okay. If you add very much more, you're going to run into some problems. You can always experiment with it. Over here we can have also these custom links, and so if you're doing it from this top part here, then you can just make a link to anything, and you can call it whatever you want, and you can go to somewhere other than your website, just whatever you want at all. If you're wanting to add a different social media outlet as a part of your icons over here, then you can click on one of these and it will add it. If you want to add a YouTube channel, then you click add to menu after you've clicked the icon, and then you can go in here and you give the specific link to your YouTube channel. Now for these things down here, then right now, for instance, on the Facebook, it's going to facebook.com/simply unique photography. That might not be what you're using in the future. If you need to change that out, you just come in here, you change it out to whatever your new link is. You could also link to categories, which we're not really using for the most part right now, but you could. Tags also, we can explain that at a different time. Again, not something that's going to be terribly important to what you're doing. That's how you use menus. There's no need to create a new menu really, because you have only one place to put a menu in this current website. But menu items, you can create as many of them as you want, and some of them will look okay, some of them won't, depending on how many more you add. But if you ever need help with that, you can contact us and we'll be glad to give you support in that matter.